All right, cool. Let's get into another spicy lens. I am very
Yeah,
excited for this.
yeah. This is we're going for a major contrast in the lenses that we've been talking about tonight. Chris's $140 fun leader, and we're jumping up to an Leica APO Summicron 35 millimeter f2 ASPH or aspherical. Um, this lens has an eye-watering price tag of $8,295. And Chris, if he could reach through my screen and grab it from me, I know he would. And I can't say I would blame him because this lens, I've only had it since Friday, so this is a really first impressions of this lens. And I can say that I have had a ton of fun with it already, and the images I've produced with it have just made my jaw drop. So I've been really excited to take this out and play with it, Chris.
Now that thing is like an inch and a half tall, right?
Yeah, it is tiny. In fact, I got a battery right here. This is just a AA battery, and it is ever so just slightly taller than the battery, if you can see that right there.
And that's with the lens hood attached,
That's with
obviously.
the lens hood attached. Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. So this thing is tiny and it is packed full of elements. It's got 11 bladed aperture in it. It is just crammed full of elements that make this lens really stand out.
Now, what else really makes it stand out?
So normally with rangefinder cameras, you can focus down to about zero point 0.7 meters, and that's really a design of rangefinder cameras in general. However, now we've stepped into the digital and mirrorless world. Um, Leica figured out that you can use the LCD to focus this lens down to zero point 0.3 meters, which is completely unheard of in this realm.
And again, you can only do that using like the EVF or the LCD. You can't do it with the rangefinder because the rangefinder coupling won't let you do that, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you have to use the Vision Flex, the additional EVF for these M cameras, or you have to use the LCD. It's the only way you can focus that closely.
Now, 11 aperture blades as well. Like that's a lot of bokeh, and I think that's like a pillar of all Sony G Master lenses too, I believe, right?
Yes, yes, I believe so. And the bokeh you can get out of this 35 millimeter lens is really pretty phenomenal.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be dreaming about it for a long time, I believe.
Um, but it's manual focus only, right?
It is manual focus only, but again, for me, that adds a whole another layer of fun to photography. Just being in complete control of what you're doing.
Now, do you think that you're shooting less but getting more keepers as well too?
Definitely. I mean, these cameras lend themselves to you being more deliberate with what you're shooting. You can for sure go out and use it in zone focusing to just go out and capture images as you're walking around. But yesterday, I found myself being much more deliberate with what I was doing just because of that.
Deliberate how?
Not running and gunning and just taking images left, right, and center.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was about to say I never really thought of you guys as like running gunning, but
Yeah, it's so much nicer. The overall how it adds to the overall experience. You come back home and you don't have a million files to go through. You have a small set of very deliberate files that are exactly what you wanted.
now for zone focusing, like there's an aperture ring
Hmm.
towards the top, and then there's
Yep.
the focusing, and then like it actually gives you the full depth of field scale.
Yes, it does. Let me see if I can get it on my camera right here. I don't know if you can see that. So there you go. Yeah. So at the top here, you have your aperture ring, as Chris was saying. Then you have your hyperfocal distances, which are in meters and feet. And then you have your focus spread down here at the bottom. And it's really very simple to read. Basically, you set your aperture to whatever you want it to be. And if you prefer shooting at a distance of 4 to 6 feet, you basically just look at your hyperfocal distance. And then at the bottom, you'll see what your focal spread is for your aperture. So if I'm set at f8 and I like focusing from 5 feet, I'll set my hyperfocal distance to 5 feet. And at the bottom, it will show me that at f8, this lens will focus from roughly 4.75 feet to about 8 feet.
4.75 feet to around 8 feet. That's perfect for street.
It's absolutely perfect for street or just walking around events like I did yesterday. Absolutely.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great spread.
And it's sharp too, right?
It is ridiculously sharp.
All right.
As long as you nail focus, of course.
Yeah, let's look at these images
Sure.
because I was looking at some of them too, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you see those?
I sure can.
Okay, so this is a long exposure. By the way, Brett is shooting with the M10R. That's a 40 megapixel sensor, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And Leica did not make that with Sony, so it's completely different than anything else on the market.
Yep, it renders images in such a fantastic way. I absolutely love it.
Now, this is the 35 at f4 and ISO 100, right?
Yes, and this was a bulb exposure. I believe the shutter dial goes down to 8 seconds at the longest. So this was a bulb, and yeah, just look at that, man. It's razor sharp. Those bursts are fantastic. The colors are beautiful. I love the way that it rendered this skyline shot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like this myself too.
hmm
And you sent me these images as well too, just to show everyone a little bit more.
Absolutely.
When Brett was talking about the hyperfocal length distance, so again, over here, you can see that, right? You can see me moving my
Yep,
mouse.
sure can.
This is the aperture, and then this is the scale that we're talking about. So if you're
hmm
focused to the orange is like feet, and then over here in white is in meters.
Yep.
So if you're focused out to 4 feet away and you're at f2, then this is all it'll be in focus.
hmm
But if you're focused to 4 feet away and you're at f11, then that will mean that f11 is at like between like 5.5 feet
hmm
to looking at f11 here to like
Just under 3 feet. Yeah.
just under 3 feet. So you'd have everything at f11 from uh just under 3 feet to like just over 5 feet away
hmm
in focus. Not necessarily sharply, but usable enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, and if you're not a fan of manual focusing, using zone focusing and just setting it and forgetting it, and just as long as you're cognizant of your distance to your subject, you can just walk around and click, click, click as much as you like. And your images will generally be sharp and in focus.
And they sent you a silver camera too.
They did, man. It's a beauty, isn't it?
You know, I've always liked their silvers a lot more than their black cameras.
hmm It's just such a classic look.
It really is.
Yeah.
Do you feel it's heavy?
It is pretty heavy, yeah, but it's not uncomfortable to hold. I was walking around with this lens for 4 or 5 hours yesterday, and not once did I think, "Oh man, this is uncomfortable. It's making my wrist hurt." It really didn't. It's perfectly balanced.
Now you have larger paws. How does it feel around your hands?
Good. It feels great. There's when you're holding it in your right hand, there's plenty of space for you to wrap your fingers around the body and get a good grip on it. And then up at the top on the back, I wish I'd sent a picture of is where the shutter dial is, or where the dial is. There's actually a little nub where you can rest your thumb, and you can actually get a really good grip on the camera.
Mm-hmm. I've done the same thing. It's
hmm
fascinating to me that Leica can create cameras like this with no like grip and
Yeah,
like a traditional grip, and they're always like great feeling in the hand.
absolutely. And of course, the covering on the body, the texture, just makes it feel even nicer as well.
Yeah. Also to let you guys know, just transparently, Leica is a sponsor of the site this year. However, this post is not sponsored at all. This is actually
hmm
very transparent review.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is what aperture was this?
This was at f3.6, I believe. This was me trying to focus as close as I could with the lens, with the new close focusing. Um, this was my first attempt, and I think it turned out pretty good. I did run into some issues when I was outside and not being able to see the LCD as easily, but yeah, this is about as close as you can get to things.
Mm-hmm. I know a couple of Facebook groups that would go crazy for this photo.
Oh, I'm sure. This is one of my babies.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This is straight out of camera. I didn't do anything to it. I imported it, saved it. as a JPEG, so I can send it to you. And this is the result.
So gorgeous.
Those colors are fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Makes skin tones look good too on his
It does.
Sam here.
It does absolutely. The skin tones are beautiful.
Ooh.
Again, yeah, this is me trying to play around with the close focusing because that is one of the big selling points of this lens. And as you can see, you can get razor thin depth of field, and the area that is sharp is tack sharp. It's really really nice. The coffee was good too, by the way.
Yeah, I can tell. You got Sam really sharp here too.
I did, yeah. It's like again, it's super sharp when you get everything when you get your focusing dialed in, and that bokeh, it's so creamy and smooth. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for a 35 millimeter lens, it's generally not really a quality you'd go for, but the like I say, the bokeh is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at this.
Hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful. The way it renders everything is fantastic.
It looks like it's controlling distortion very well, almost like, I mean, I'm looking down here.
Hmm.
Is there like a little bit or like what's going on there?
There's a tiny bit, I believe, but it's again that would be right towards the edge of the frame, but it's not anywhere near as bad as some lenses I've tested in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be easily correctable in post. I try to do as little as possible to these images so we could get a better sense of what this lens is like straight out the box.
Mm-hmm. Understood. This is cool.
Yeah, yeah, there was a lot. We went to the OKC car show yesterday, and there were lots of cool vehicles around. This is just one of them.
I've
A lot of
always
good.
liked the way that this sensor sort of renders oranges and yellows and reds. Like it's a little different than everything else.
It is different. It makes it stand out for sure.
Yeah.
And this lens has a lot of character actually. When you're shooting at wider apertures, there is a tiny bit of vignette, which I absolutely love, just because I think it helps draw you into the subject you're photographing personally. Stop it down a bit and it does disappear, but personally, I liked a little bit of vignetting.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Ooh.
Yeah, look at that. Pop it out. It's fantastic.
So clean.
Hmm.
This
And
is
again, the
direct
colors as
sunlight
well.
too.
This is in direct sunlight, yeah. The contrast from this lens, the colors it produces in direct sunlight, just phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful.
Not only that, but like it's still got a softness to it, I feel.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
I can't put my finger on it quite. But yeah, that's
It's
the best way I can
it
describe it.
it's one of those qualities that you can't quantify. It's kind of like how I feel shooting with some of my Pentax lenses. This is what Pentaxions were called fairy dust. It's just something that's there that you can't describe,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Je ne sais quoi.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this was me with zone focusing, just trying to walk around. It's been so long since I've really used zone focusing. So it was fun to me to kind of get back into that mode yesterday with this lens. And I was having a blast doing it, man. It was fantastic.
You know what's really fun about zone focusing? You don't even have to look through the viewfinder.
No, you can just hold the camera, you can walk around and not even draw any attention to yourself. I was kind of holding the camera around about my midsection, just snapping away, and people were none the wiser.
I can imagine that was a little safer for you too, especially considering all these folks aren't wearing masks.
Yeah, I think Sam and I were in the 1% of people wearing masks yesterday.
Yeah, you and this dude over here and like this
Yep,
guy.
pretty much. Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
Oh, those colors.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a beautiful contrast.
Yeah, especially like transitioning from like what's happening with the sun here to
Hmm.
like there.
Oh, absolutely.
So these are just like some people like showing off the cars that they own.
Yeah, the main Oklahoma City car show was in the state fairgrounds in a building called the Bennett Center. I think I sent some images from inside. These are just gearheads bringing their cars and showing them off to everyone. It was a lot of fun. It was fun talking to people about their projects, and I really wish I had more time to sit there and document more of what they had done with this camera.
Was it shorts weather yesterday?
It was like 70 degrees here yesterday, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day yesterday.
Jeez.
Hmm.
Interior.
Interior, again, the lens performed great. The lighting inside here was challenging to say the least. It was kind of like a rave at times, different colored lights flashing, bright, dim. So it was hard to keep up with it, but you know, we done a pretty decent job.
Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful. This is a $4 million vehicle, believe it or not. Yeah. It
Why is
felt
it a
just,
$4 million vehicle?
there's only 12 of them ever made, and
Oh,
there's only 4 that are fully restored right now. So it just kind of felt right capturing it with the camera I had on me yesterday. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the
Again,
interior of it?
no, this was a Bel Air, I believe. Yeah, it's a
Mm,
Bel Air. Yeah, I didn't get any pictures of the interior of the this future liner.
gotcha.
Yeah, and of course you got your new modern supercars as well, but
Of course.
didn't really matter what I was pointed at. This lens, now this one to me, it rendered beautifully. I love it. It almost looks like a toy vehicle the way this came out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. And again, the colors are accurate. I haven't done anything to the files, and when I brought them back home, I was like, "Yeah, this is exactly how I remembered it looking."
The
So it's
bokeh's
doing it.
still doing a pretty good job as well.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The bokeh, there is still a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
of it, and it's doing its job to like separate it from the rest of the scene.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. It's almost effortless for this lens to do that.
Yeah, I think that that's a really important part of storytelling.
Hmm. Yep, I agree. Again, this is me trying my hand at the close focusing, and it really is difficult using the even using the LCD. I would say the focus peaking is not the best I've ever used before. And I really do think that with the Vision Flex EVF, which I'll be getting later on this coming week, um, focusing as close as this lens can, I do think will be easier. But this is kind of what you can expect from close focusing.
When you were you using focus peaking or were you using magnification?
I was using focus peaking.
Focus peaking can be tough.
Yes, it can. Absolutely. Again, there's another example right here. And you can see the razor thin depth of field on the lettering down at the bottom of the mirror there.
Mm-hmm. She looks so tired of this.
Yeah, yeah, she's not the biggest car fan. And she's kind of tired of, hey, stand still, let me get your picture. No, you can't move because it's manual focusing, okay? You got to stay still.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love this shot, just a detail shot. This lens is perfect for that. Of course, you know, I have a thing for 35mm lenses anyway. I think they're the perfect tool for documenting just everyday life and just capturing images like this. This lens lends itself to this perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you zoom in on this, it's so sharp. The writing on the ball is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is through the back window of a heavily rusted out patinaed 60s car.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really happy with how that one turned out.
More of those colors.
Yeah, more of the colors. It's interesting. Just like you said, like we were talking about the way it renders oranges and yellows. It's a very unique look.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you get it from like any other sensor. Like I don't think even Canon does this.
No, I completely agree. It's again, this is the first time I've used a Leica camera, and it's really something that stood out to me, and I really liked it. Just kind of wanted to show the difference between black and white on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I really like black and whites. I love shooting black and whites with when I'm going out documenting. But yeah, and of course this is a great English sports car as well, so I had to capture it.
Anyone else have an accent around you?
Oh, everyone has an accent to me. I'm not from here.
It's a solid point. Oh man, look at that bokeh.
Yeah, and this is at f4. Again, I was trying to really, and I had so many misses when I was trying to focus up close, just because that EVF will help. And this was outside with the sun beating down on the back of the LCD, so I could really not see what I was doing. But still managed to pull this one off at f4, and it just is a beautiful image. I love how it's rendered. The bokeh is phenomenal. The sharpness is there.
See, some people would sit there and complain about the onion bokeh here, but I'm like,
Eh,
whatever.
it's character. And, I'd rather have that than clinical perfection any day. I'm so tired of clinical perfection.
So am I.
Yeah, the character, and I talk about character and lenses a lot, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's what will make your images unique compared to any other camera or any other lenses that you use.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, this is a great, great way to show off the color.
Yeah, and it's exactly what my wife was like. Why are you standing in the road? I was like, I've got to capture these colors. It's perfect. And yeah, this is exactly why I was standing in the road to get this shot.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's so bold and bright. It's nicely saturated. It's not over the top. It's exactly how it was. It's true to life. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you have basically every color here except for purples.
Right. Absolutely.
But you can tell like the subtle tonalities between like the different types of greens and like the oranges and
Oranges and
reds.
reds really stand out. Absolutely. Yeah, it does a beautiful job.
Even the blues, like the blues here to like there.
Mm-hmm. It pops so well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This guy, like your photos with this guy, I was like, oh man, this guy seems really happy.
This guy's a hoot. He's a local butcher, and of course I snapped his picture and he was like, "What, you want my autograph too?" But yeah, he is a good sport. I took a few pictures while I was in here just to kind of see how it does, and yeah, he had no problems with it. It's again, I love doing documentary shots like this.
Yeah, and this is like true documentary, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. I love
Yeah.
capturing people's personalities. He's always got a smile on his face when you go in there, and that's exactly how he got captured. So
Mm-hmm. And that's the black and white.
that's the black and white. I love the way it does the black and whites. I think that's
Yeah.
that's my favorite one on this out of
See,
those two.
for documentary, this is a fantastic environmental portrait shot. But I think that this here really gives us a sense that, like, oh, this guy works with meat.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
So the color actually makes more sense, and it is
Hmm.
very important here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Beef.
Yep.
Sam's making me meatballs for my birthday tomorrow, so we're stocking up on the ground beef there.
Nice.
Yeah,
How many pounds do you buy?
2.5, I think. We're going to be feeding a small army.
2.5 pounds is not enough, man.
Oh man, that's plenty. I'm
Okay.
on a diet too, remember?
Oh, I'm on a seafood diet, remember?
There you go.
This bokeh is great. Did he purposely make his face like that?
No, that's just how I captured him, man.
This is awesome. But I
Yeah.
agree. I still will say I think this shot would have worked better in color.
Yep. And I do have both. I just didn't send both of them to you.
No, that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep. And again, just the checkout process. I was just trying to see what I could do with the lens. But yeah, man, I don't have really a bad thing to say about this lens. I've put it in so many different situations. It handles everything well. I've seen hardly any, if any at all, chromatic aberrations or anything like that. There's no fringing going on. The vignetting that's there is natural to the lens, and I think it just adds to the character of the images. And yeah, it's a beautiful lens to walk around and use.
Now, in these situations, were you actually putting the camera and the lens to your eye, or you were
No,
just like shooting
uh,
like this?
just shooting like that. That's just zone focusing. Yep.
Man, you nailed it.
Yeah, I was excited.
See, this is why I like to say that like zone focusing and manual focusing can totally outdo like the fastest cameras sometimes.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Like I say, you can set it and forget it, and as long as you're aware of your distances, you can capture just about anything you want.
Mm-hmm. Like you got to be in the zone, like aware and cognizant of like what's certain distances away from you.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
this is dope.
I was just out last night shooting some long exposures, and I just wanted to kind of see how it would render things at night. And yeah, again, the colors and the light and everything is just perfect on this.
These green lights, are
Hmm.
they actually like that or
Yes,
like?
yeah, because they're LED lights.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't
absolutely.
seen those yet.
You can see the reds are slightly off as well, and if the orange was there, they'd be slightly off. Yeah,
So are these like real tungstens?
yes, they are.
Oh, that's why it's so stark.
That's why it's so different. Yeah.
Man, that's weird.
Hmm. This is always a scene I like capturing when I go to this part of town. Usually during the day I capture it because this is where I try to do my fringing tests, because it usually shows up pretty bad here, which you saw in a review of the Hasselblad a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is just a scene I like to capture, and again, it does a great job of rendering the scene.
I like what it's doing too around like the red lights, like this halo effect. Like I
Hmm.
actually like that.
I do too. Again, it goes to the character of the lens. You know, it sets it apart from others.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something similar to what you might see from like Cinestill film, except Cinestill would put that around like every light, but
Right.
it's still fine.
You can also see the difference between the reds in the light from the LED and the red of the statue as well. It's a nice subtle difference.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Yeah, this is the Skydance Bridge in Oklahoma City. I was hoping to not get people there, but it actually kind of worked out pretty well, I think.
Mm-hmm. This was the black and white.
And that's a black and white one. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic and gorgeous.
Thank you. So yeah, I had a ton of fun walking around with this lens. I'm looking forward to taking out to do some more tests to see what else I can capture. But first impressions are, I wish I had a Leica M series camera and a spare $8,300.
So I mean, besides the price
Hmm.
and besides it not being autofocus, like what are your problems with this lens?
Honestly, I don't have any yet. It feels great. The build quality is fantastic. The focus throw and how it's dampened is brilliant as well. One thing to note as well is when you go past 0.7 meters, there's a small detent in the lens, so you can actually physically feel yourself going into the close focusing mode, which is fantastic. You don't have to look away from the lens. You know exactly where you are. Um, I haven't seen any issues with image quality in terms of chromatic aberrations or fringing yet. It might come later on, I don't know. But as of right now, I don't have anything bad to say about this lens.
Strong words from gear editor Brett Day.
Yeah.
Uh, no one said anything over here in Zoom. Everyone's quiet today.
Yeah. You got any questions for us, guys?
Yeah, feel free to let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, um, in Facebook, Future Liner. No, it was fun later, John.
Mm.
Um, oh, you got the Futura bus. He said,
Yeah, the future liner. Yeah.
yeah, Future Liner. Oh, that's what he
Mm-hmm.
meant.
Yeah.
Did Brett say click, click, click as much as you say like as much as you like um cool. Yeah. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of questions.
No?
Everyone's quiet tonight, but I'm glad you're enjoying this lens, man. I'm kind of jealous. Like, so let me see if I can get it really quickly. The my much larger thing that I'm testing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the SL2, and this is the 28 millimeter f2. Far
Ooh.
larger than what you've got.
Yeah. It's just a little bit bigger.
Yeah. All right, folks. As always, thank you so much for paying attention to us and tuning in. We really appreciate it. Wait. Gino, what cameras are you viewing? Leica M3 and Sony? Um, no, we were testing these out on the M10R and the Sony A7 original. Yeah. Um, Anyway, yes, thank you folks so much. We really appreciate you. please tune in every week. It means a lot to us. You can check this out in a later recording on Facebook. You go to our page and then just check it out there. YouTube, we usually break it up into 2 different videos, and Flipboard as well. We usually break it up into 2 different videos. So if you follow us on Flipboard, check out our videos there. You follow us on YouTube. Thank you. We appreciate you. We usually release these every Friday. And on Facebook, yeah. We will be upgrading our technology soon. We'll be getting higher quality video, all that kind of stuff. Zoom, unfortunately, does not really allow us to do very much. So, yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. We appreciate you as always. For those of you on Facebook, we're going to kill the feed there. And for those of you here in Zoom, we're going to open it up to you folks to just talk and all that stuff. So thanks a lot, folks. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks, everyone. Good to see you all again.